The Second Hand. Chapter 1. Pathogenesis. Noun. The origin and development of disease. The mechanism by which harm occurs. March 4th, 1899. New Orleans, Louisiana. The saloon doors creak open with a hint of dust behind them. Inside, the place is dim, slatted with golden light from the narrow windows. A brown-skinned man wearing a necklace of black and turquoise beads sits near the middle of a long L-shaped wooden bar with a glass of amber liquid in front of him. The newcomer steps toward the bar, watches the native clock him for a moment before he lowers his gaze to the rim of his glass. John orders a drink of his own. The barkeep calls him Doc and asks where he's been. The question goes unanswered. Then John takes a seat beside the man with the beaded hair and nods in greeting. The man nods back. "You're the doctor they've been whispering about," he says by the time John's first whiskey comes to him. John hums in agreement. He sits straight back, forearms resting on the bar. He thinks he might recognize this stranger. He focuses on recalling where he's seen him. So much he doesn't remember what came out of his mouth next. Something grim, like hate's got a way of festering in a city like this. The man returns John's gaze and doesn't waver. Then finally, a low breath. "That right?" he asks. "Rock got too loud?" His long fingers cup the rim of glass in front of him and twist slowly. The vessel itself doesn't move. His tone isn't flat, but it isn't open either. But then it shifts with his weight as he leans back on the bar stool. "You got a name?" John pauses, and for a moment he recognizes the man in front of him by the flashing in his head of a still-frame memory. Just a poster in the street, mud-covered and barely legible. But when letters appeared like that, it had always been John's nature to read them. Caleb Smith. It was his picture. John would swear to it. Wanted. Crimes of murder, theft, and association with the Meer gang. Reward. John didn't remember the number. Didn't need to. It was a joke, all of it was. That's what he's been coming to terms with lately. John's breath hitches slightly when he realizes he's been stalling. He extends a hand to the curious bargoer. A few of the other patrons scoff. Caleb moves his hand. His fingers wrap around John's. His grip is firm. Warmer than expected. "Name's John Watson," John says. "Caleb Smith." He holds John's gaze for a second too long. His hand falls back to his glass. "You strike me as someone who didn't come here for the music." The doctor finishes his whiskey. "Music, no." Taps his knuckles on the bar and shifts in his seat. "I'm here to meet a man about a job. Prison, washing sheets and such." The bartender refills John's whiskey. "Prison laundry," Caleb nods, and with the same unreadable expression. "That kind of job leaves a man thinking too much about stains that won't wash out." Caleb's eyes flick back to the bartender who's walking toward a different customer. "How long have you been out of work?" he asks John. "A month now," John replies plain. He looks at his glass. Caleb leans back slightly, pleased, finally some hint of interpretable expression in his eye. John notices how his nostrils flare slightly every time before he speaks. "Month'll stretch long when you got no work and a sharp head," Caleb purrs. John feels his blood pressure rising, heartbeat racing through capillaries toward his ears. "What about you? What line of work you in?" he asks Caleb. The doctor wills his voice steady, anticipating the answer he already knows. Caleb rolls the rim of his glass between his fingers. "Odd jobs mostly," the man shrugs, and a few of the black beads on his neck catch in the shifting yellow light. "Woodcutting, hunting, hauling things no one else wants to haul. That kind of work. Thing is, I like to keep moving. World gets too loud when I stay in one place too long." He glances at John, then nods to the bar. "You ever patch up a man who didn't want saving? Stitched up the outside while the inside was rotten clear through?" There's something off about Caleb's questions. Everyone wanted saving in the war, John hears himself murmur. It's different here, the doctor continues. Folk with the money to pay, but no will left in them. Caleb lifts his glass, takes a slow sip, and sets it down without sound. Yeah, he says, voice quiet. Folk with no will, but all the power. Like keeping a dog alive, just to watch it limp. He rests his elbow on the bar, eyes fixed on John now. Something different behind them now. Patched soldiers, seen men die with their guts out, and still trying to crawl toward a friend. And now you're here, drinking quiet, talking like you're the one that got left behind. The statement lingers. Then, not unkindly, you running from someone, John? Or just trying to run back to whoever you were before? John tilts his head. What kind of question? He swirls his whiskey this time before finishing it. Don't know. Tried just about everything around when I was your age. John pauses. Caleb can't be more than 30. Tried to be a traveling medicine man. Didn't really work out. And I hate these people, but it's better than no people. Caleb leans forward this time, letting John's words hang in the dusty haze of the bar. He just watches. You don't talk like a man who hates people, he says. He finally downs the drink. Look, I came here tonight to forget about what's waiting in the swamp. But if you ever want to find something worth standing still for, I know a place. John blinks. Dutch? Caleb lifts a brow, smiles slow. You already know his name. He sets his glass down gently, gaze still on John. He leans forward, elbows to the bar, voice lower. Dutch sees people. Really sees them. That can be a curse, or a gift, but it's honest. Then Caleb straightens, stands with the grace of someone who's lived a life far too long on horseback, and looks into the harsh evening light streaming through the saloon half doors. If you change your mind about the prison job, head west of LeCay. Small camp. Ask for a doctor.